may or may not recall that a few years back, we brought you a story about a handful of people with memories that are almost unimaginable. Name virtually any date in their lives, and they can tell you what they were doing that day, the day of the week, sometimes even the weather, all within seconds. It's a kind of memory that's brand new to science, literally unheard of just a decade ago. After our story aired, the scientists studying this phenomenon were flooded with calls and emails. We were so intrigued, we decided to follow the research to see what further study might reveal about these remarkable memories and what it may mean for the rest of us. They now have many more subjects, including a 10-year-old boy.
Okay, do it.
But first, meet or refresh your memory of our original memory wizards.
A 7.1 earthquake hit the San Francisco-Oakland area on
October 17th, 1989.
Tuesday.
We were watching the game of the World Series.
And when were the Oscars held? In 1999.
1999, Sunday, March 21st.
Yes.
They remember what they did.
I went to a fabulous Oscar party that day.
What they care about.
When was the last time the Redskins beat the Steelers? Oh, in 91. November 17th, 1991.
Sometimes even the shoes they wore.
These I wore on April the 21st of this year, so that was a Tuesday. Oh, these shoes I got a long time ago.
It's the way most of us remember yesterday.
The first time I wore them and I got them was on April the 9th, so that was a Friday of 1982.
This is a detective story.
The scientist who first identified this condition and has been studying it ever since is Dr. James McGaugh at the University of California, Irvine. An eye condition requires him to wear a clouded lens.
We are pretending that we are Sherlock Holmes. We've arrived on the scene of a crime or something that's unusual. All of a sudden, we have a new phenomenon of memory, and we're trying to figure out how it is that this happened.
When we did our first story, only 6 people in the world had been identified with this ability, one of them by chance the actress Mary Lou Henner. But that number changed quickly.
Okay, quiz. What's the date that that story first aired?
December 19th, 2010.
What day of the week was it?
Sunday.
Joey DeGrandis, Bill Brown, Tracy Fursan, and Jared Hurd are among the 50 new subjects.
All right, what happened on June 25th, 2009?
Michael
Jackson and Farrah Fawcett died, too.
Farrah Fawcett that morning.
That's right.
They both died the same day.
And when they think about those days, they actually relive them.
It's not just a question of numbers, dates, and times, it's emotion. And so, when we wake up on that certain day of the year, it's kind of like how everybody wakes up feeling on 9/11.
Do you even know that when I think of something 5 years ago, I don't have much emotion attached to it?
I can't even relate to that.
Yeah.
I don't even understand that.
So, Joe, how old were you when you first realized that you could do this?
I was about 10 years old. It was the fall of '94.
It was a Tuesday.
How's it going so far? You tricking people? We had a 4th grade magic show at the very end of the year. It was Thursday, June 1st of '95. And I remember, like the week before, trying to think of what am I going to do? I'm not a magician. I don't know what I'm going to do for this magic show. My mom said to me, why don't you do your date thing? Just blow some calendars up behind you, stand with your back facing the calendars, and when people come by, ask them to pick a date. And that's what I did.
Okay, how about if we pick January 8th, 1993?
Friday.
How about December 15th, 1993? How about February 9th, 1994?
Wednesday again.
Correct.
Until now, Joey's videotape was the closest the researchers had come to seeing this ability in a child. Enter Jake Hausler, age 10. What day of the week was Halloween 2011?
Monday. That one I didn't even have to think about.
New Year's Day 2010.
Friday.
Friday.
I remember that because I was up all night at the Blues game.
That's when Jake was 6. He lives in St. Louis, loves sports, and is, in most respects, a typical 10-year-old. What happened, related to school, on January 30th, 2013?
That day, I'm pretty sure... Oh, wait. That's a trick question. We didn't have school that day. store last night. I'm like, hey, we didn't have school that day.
How's your day, Jake?
Jake's parents, Sari and Eric Hausler, and his older brother Ben say they knew something was up with Jake's memory when he was only 3 and he had memorized the inspection stickers on the neighbors' cars. Then he started with the dates.
We'd be driving in the car and we'd be talking about a past event, and he would say, oh, that was a Tuesday.
And there was the time the family dog threw up in her crate.
He says to me, well, Mom, tomorrow would be a year since the last time she threw up in her crate.
I remember our first time was Thursday, May 10th, 2012.
I mean, he has a lot of things stuck in his head.
a lot in there.
What did you think was going on?
We didn't know.
Not really sure.
They heard about Dr. McGaw's research from our first story and brought Jake out to Irvine for testing. Dr. McGaw says seeing this ability in a child firsthand is significant.
Had for breakfast January 1st, 2013. It was actually pancakes. Oh my gosh.
We wondered if seeing it this early proves it's innate. Well, take a look at this.
May 27th, 2012. Do you know what day of the week that was?
That was a Sunday.
You're right.
There is exactly one child in the world other than Jake who's been identified so far with this ability, 11-year-old Tyler Hickenbottom. And in a fortuitous coincidence, Tyler happens to be an identical twin. He and his brother Chad share the same genes.
Yeah, I think I might have worn an orange shirt.
But surprisingly not the same memory.
No, that was in 2012 when you had to wear the neon shirt.
Dr. McGaw and his team haven't scanned Chad and Tyler's brains yet to see what secrets they might hold. But they have put Jake into an MRI scanner, as well as many of the adults. The latest findings show a more active pathway between the front and back of the brain.
That would say that the reason that they can do that in part might be because the different parts of the brain have greater access to each other. And so that is exciting, and we're going to have to explore that in more detail.
In the meantime, McGaw and his team have made some surprising new discoveries in their low-tech testing. They showed the memory wizards a short film about a dinner party and later gave them a memory test.
How many coffee mugs were on the kitchen table in the opening scene?
I don't know. None? I'm going to guess 4.
The answer is 1.
The surprising thing is they are no better than the rest of us in memory of that film. Now, their explanation for this is that they didn't live that. In other words, they're just watching it. That was not their life.
But even when it comes to their own lives, there have been some unexpected findings. In a new test, McGaw's team asked the wizards, as well as non-wizards like me, to go back day by day to see how much we remember.
So yesterday I went to the gym. For breakfast I had pineapple and some papaya.
I remember waking up at 9:22, actually.
I remember exactly what I had for lunch. I could tell you in rich detail.
In memory of what happened yesterday, we are as good as they are. That surprised me.
Yeah.
But we have pretty good memories of yesterday. A couple days later, we're almost as good as they are.
And I remember Sunday quite well. And then at 10 o'clock I had a banana. I really had to go to the bathroom, so we had to stop like 4
But their rate of forgetting is very small, and ours is large. So by the time we get to a week, we're very different in our memories, and we get to a month, and they are still almost as good as they were a week afterwards, and we've gone to almost 0. Wow. They are not exceptional learners. They are very poor forgetters.
I was definitely a strong forgetter. I couldn't remember anything when I got to the end of the previous week.
Thursday and Friday.
Wow. But is it really that we forget? Watch what happened after my test when my 60 Minutes colleagues reminded me that the Thursday and Friday I'd been struggling with, we had been together shooting a story.
Same Friday. When I was prompted, then I remembered in great detail. I just couldn't bring it up.
Well, you have arrived at what we think is the most critical issue in this research. Do they have in their brains retrieval mechanisms for memory that we don't have? Now, if that's the case, that would suggest the possibility that we have all those memories. We're just like them, but we don't have the hooks to get the memories out. Wouldn't that be interesting? If that were the case, the possibility would be that we could do something which would make those memories come out better. Wouldn't that be exciting?
But that raises an important question. Would we really want to remember it all?
What is the hardest part of having this kind of memory?
The worst thing is that I can remember every bad thing that happened to me.
You remember every bad thing.
I remember this from The Lion King. Leave the past behind.
You hear that
But I
all
can't do that.
But do you think you have to learn how to make it fade?
It's probably going to be hard
To let it go.
because I can't forget it.
We were in New Jersey this summer on vacation, and he woke up one day and he said, this was a really bad day last year because you yelled at me.
Oh my God.
You know, as a father, you go, God, geez, honey, I don't even remember. What did I say?
He said it's a bad day.
Breaks your heart.
I think for us, time heals, or at least lessens it. And I feel that for them, it probably doesn't.
I can't let it fade because I just have that type of memory that I can remember everything.
We thought it might help Jake to meet some other people with that type of memory.
Oh my gosh, are you darling?
So we brought him together with Louise Owen, Bob Petrella, and Mary Lou Henner. To break the ice, Bob asked Jake about sports.
So October 27th, 2011.
October 27th.
Think about it. If you're a Cardinal fan,
It's Game 6.
That's
Get
it.
it up, baby. Get it up,
who hit the key hit? Remember?
baby. Dave Freeze.
That's it? Yeah.
Center field.
All right. He's validated.
It was like a super memory summit. Is it as if you're living it again as opposed to, for me, kind of a two-dimensional memory?
For me, it is. I mean, you say the date, and I'm there as though it happened moments ago rather than 28 years ago.
And that is both emotionally and smelling and touching.
It really feels like time travel.
Like
It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
right there.
you can almost feel the clothes
Yes.
you were wearing.
Exactly.
They can do
You know,
that.
just all the same.
Do you think it's sad that the rest of us lose so much memory of our own lives? Feel sorry for us.
I do.
You do?
I do.
Louise said she feels her memory is a gift, and she had some encouragement for the newest member of the Memory Club.
I think it's like having a superpower. And, you know, you can be normal, you can be Warrior. Yeah, you can be Clark Kent, you can sort of blend in with everybody else, but then when you really need to fly, you can totally fly, and it's awesome.
On balance, taking your life, are you glad you have this memory, or you wish you didn't have this memory?
I'm glad.
You're glad, on balance.
Yeah.